All right. It is Thursday, January 20th, 2022. Richland County Board of Commissioners now in session. I am Commissioner Tony Vero. With me is Commissioner Daryl Banks, Commissioner Cliff Mears, our clerk Stacy Crawl, Rachel Troyer from Central Services, our friends and family at CAC. If you could identify yourself for the record, please.
Tom Trichu, Director.
Jennifer Moore, Clinical Supervisor.
So we have Tom and Jennifer here from CAC. And then do we have anyone in media land out there?
Laurel.
And Laurel and Hardy themselves are back on today. We have Al Lawrence and Carl Hunnell. So,
I appreciate the recognition by the three amigos.
hey, anytime.
We moved up from the Three Stooges.
All right, Rachel, talk to us about the lovely world of inflation and food service contract renewals.
It is not going to be pretty, I'm telling you. Yeah, for the next couple of years, it's not going to be pretty. And I feel bad because I don't ever like to come and tell you guys that we're increasing, but we're going to. So I was actually expecting Captain Blanc, and I'm glad that Tom was here because he deals with this on a daily basis, as Captain Blanc does as well. But with this contract, we do allow for a price escalator, and it actually goes by the USDA. I mean, there's all different kinds of things that they do to be able to do this price index. And so when we went to Trinity asking if they would like to renew, knowing that there is a price escalator, they said, absolutely, we would love to.
I'll bet they would.
But last year was 5.8%, which will be what our increase will be as well, is 5.8%.
Last percentage of increase.
Actually, we had bid it last year. So last year was our contract price, and then this year is the renewal. So we just only can go off of the contract price. So with that, I did give the commissioners the price increase, and they did actually print off the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics with the changes, just kind of showing what it was. That's the last page of the flyer that I gave you. And as we know, it's just going to hit us like everybody else. So that being said, do you have anything to add?
Sure, always.
Tom likes.
Are you going to talk about how Notre Dame is going to beat Ohio State in Labor Day? This
On the discussion.
Take it away, Tommy.
I think, just so you're aware, I think you're all obviously aware, the number of meals reflects the actual cost we're going to pay per day. Obviously, that right now the jail's low, so their numbers are lower. So it's going to affect me paying more. And it's not a big, you got to do what you got to do. You're still getting a meal. Not too many places you're going to get a meal for.
Can't hide from food. Yeah, you need to feed people. So,
So the price increase really is not a major issue for me. I have more specific questions for Trinity itself, which is probably not the time for here, but I think you need to. I've dealt with probably like 30 years dealing with probably 6 different companies. They all end up being the same.
Mhm.
They all provide something right away when they get their contract, and everything's good, the meals are good. And then about 2 months later, they're doing it for profit. So their quality drops, the quantity drops. For example, on here it says snack 60 cents. When I negotiated about a year ago for snacks, I gave them a list of options. I said, here, maybe bag of chips and an apple, maybe one day, and then peanut butter and crackers and something else. And it started out that way. And now it is nothing more than an apple and some cakes that they make that are just nothing.
when I worked in the private sector, I got handed the vending situation at my employer. I spent so much time on food service and vending. It is, you can't escape it.
Mm-mm.
And it's the same thing. You look at a new provider, they come in, it's hunky dory.
Couple of months.
Yeah, and then it's back to where you were.
And they all have staff issues, so they constantly got new staff coming in. They're supervising inmates that they're not trained to supervise. Those inmates get away with stuff. They do stuff that whatever. And I'm not, it's no complaint against the jail at all, but that's just reality.
I know.
And it's been the
But I
reality
do want
with
to meet with
every
them. I
vendor.
want to know what a snack is for 60 cents. Right now, they're sending me apples every day and nobody eats apples anymore. I mean, they send them every day. It's like, come on,
Well, I mean, look, if it's an issue, let's work with Rachel. And you work for two judges. I mean, they got a black robe. They can really flex some muscles up there. I mean, I don't think Namoff has a lot of muscles, but
so they're not major complaints, but there's a lot of just day-to-day little things that are irritating for us. Those short meals, we don't get enough hamburgers, for example. We have to call over the jail. Hey, you short us 10 hamburgers. Well, we don't have any more. Well, what do you want me to do? And they want us to come back over and pick them up, and I'm going, wait, you made a mistake.
you do it.
Well, we got nobody to bring them. So those are trendy
Yes.
things and not really within, but I think you need to be aware that it's not all rosy either.
Oh, no, it
at
never
all.
has been.
You
Leave our stuff out in containers out in the rain.
utilize Rachel and your bosses and even us. So if I'm looking at this correctly, Rachel, this is a 1-year contract effective March 1. Why does it say 2021 to February 28, 2022, Rachel?
Because that is our 1-year contract,
And so,
original contract
so we're exercising the 1-year option then?
to renew,
And
correct?
so then
Three options.
the most, you want us to exercise the 1-year option then effective, then it would be February 29th of 2022 then, if this ends on the 28th? How do you want me to make the motion?
It would be for the March 1st
March 1st, okay.
and March 1st,
No.
2022 through February, well, with February of next year, that's not legal.
February 28th of 2023.
Do we have no other options than Trinity?
We bid it out last year.
Yes, we bid it out last year. We could go out to bid again, but again, you're limited to like 5 or 6 people. We
Send it out.
did it last year.
No, we're exercising the option.
So we're exercising the option to renew with Trinity. As Tom said, as you know, I agree with him. No matter what, if we go out to bid, we get a new vendor. It's all peaches and cream for a couple of months.
Mine was
then-
great. And
Yeah,
so we
oh,
decided to
towards
bid it
the
out
end,
for-
it was
and we got
horrible.
Trinity, though.
So we had kind of a history of different vendors.
It's like that.
All vendors, it's
The nature of the food
It is,
industry.
yes, and then you have to have meetings with them, you have to get things straightened around, and it's great again for a little while, and then all of a sudden they start messing it up, and then you have to have a meeting again, so it's something you have to babysit.
Where does the
Just-
food come from? I see they're based in Florida, but where is it?
So they contract with a vendor, so it could be GFS, it could be Cisco.
That's exactly what they do.
Yes,
it's
they
just larger
contract,
Okay.
bring in-
quantity stuff.
correct,
Yeah.
yes, they bring in bulk
Trinity is
in our building,
their management.
so we store it down at the jail.
They're not in the food business.
They're in the food business. You should know.
They're
Yes.
the manager of the.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they store it at the jail and then whatever the menu is, so the menu is made up, what is it, like 2 months in advance? And so they know on Monday, it's gonna be hamburgers and french fries. So, they just pull that out, cook it. They have the inmates also help. And then they serve it up for Tom, they put it in special containers for them, and then the rest goes out to the inmates. So they're supervising the inmates. They also have a dietitian, a couple of kitchen workers as well. So they're a service, but they contract out the food. So we don't have to worry about purchasing the food. It's paying for all these people to do this
Okay.
and also
Got
the food itself. Mhm.
All right, so we have a motion to exercise our 1-year option, please.
Yes, I will make that motion. A second.
Commissioner Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Thank you, Rachel, Tom, and Jennifer.
Thank you.
Couple of questions real quick.
Sure.
Looking back, Rachel, last year, the contract with Trinity was an increase. It was a new contract, but it was an increase of 3.8% over what had been the year prior. According to what I saw last year, meals went to $1.770 per meal. I don't have the number that you've got right there. What is the total price increase going to be? What's the average meal now?
Okay, so if we look at the inmates, so the number of meals, if we look at like 601 to 650. It was 1.705, and it will be increasing to 1.873.
And that's for 601 to 650 meals per day.
Yes, correct.
Okay. When I was looking at last year's story, and I realized Captain Blanc's not there, but the annual food costs were estimated to be around 387,000 last year, depending upon the number of inmates. Do you have an estimate for what the food costs will be this year?
I do not have that estimate. I can ask Captain Blanc if he could give it to me. We could forward that to you if you would like.
That would be helpful. I'm just want to try to make sure we have a similar amount of information. One of the things Blanc had said last year is that the inmate complaints about food had actually declined 60 to 70% since Trinity took over the contract. Do you know if there's a lot of complaints among inmates? Have those gone up now the way you guys are describing how this contract stuff kind of tails off?
I'm sure that it has gone up. What you have to realize is that our previous vendor, it got extremely bad, very, very bad. We were babysitting them on a weekly basis for as bad as everything was. So when Trinity came in, it was 100% better compared to what we had. So I'm sure there's complaints. We always expect complaints. It probably has increased because of, the types of snacks and stuff like that they receive. And again,
Staff
Tom
turnover.
just kind of, staff turnover, that does not help at all, because when you get people that know the contract and they work the contract every day, they know the food, it helps. But with the staff turnover, you have brand new people all the time that are being trained. They're not as good. They don't know what we expect out of them.
Carl, you can go ahead and give Captain Blanc a call. He'd probably be the better person to answer the number of complaints and what he's seeing if you want.
What was the other thing I was going to ask you about this? Well, I'll let Al go ahead while I try to think of what it was I was trying to ask about.
Al?
No, Carl's done a good job of asking questions. I just want to point out, I had a relative who worked in the food service industry and worked with schools, and he just quit his job because of pressure. I mean, he was an administrator for a company, and he quit because it was just too much. He was burned out with it, and he worked for a company.
Mhm.
Carl, did you think of your question?
I certainly did. Thank you. Just to make sure. So this contract feeds inmates in the county jail and also the folks at the Community Alternative Center, correct?
Correct.
That's all I had. Thanks.
All right.
Thank you.
Guys.
Follow up on that last question.
Oh, you already said you didn't have any.
No, nothing yet. Well, Carl caused it. The juvenile detention is a separate contract.
Your own separate world out there, Al.
Okay.
They actually make their own food.
Oh, okay.
Yep, in-house.
They live in the same separate world that you live in, Tony?
No, we are not worthy to walk in that world.
That's all I had. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all. All right, moving on. Motion to certify the record of proceedings for January 18th, 2022.
Second.
Mr. Barrow,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears, Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
Okay, we had some add-ons for requisitions because we know beginning of the year it's requisition palooza. Stacy, do you need me to include the add-on when I pass this on, or do you have it? Do you have your copy?
Just make sure it comes back to me and all.
All right, so these two, so may we have a motion to approve the beginning of the year requisitions? There's two.
Second. Here.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears,
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
All right. Obviously, when we have jury trials, we need to provide water to prospective jurors and people who are involved in justice service, service of justice, excuse me. So the Richland County Court of Common Pleas is seeking additional appropriations. This is pretty standard for start of the year. So may we have a motion to do so they can make sure that those spending time have something to drink.
So moved.
Non-alcoholic.
Rivera,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears.
Yes.
Commissioner Banks.
Yes.
All right. Moving ahead. Our buddy, the Richland County engineer, has asked that we set viewing and hearing dates for the Possum Run Road vacation. This is dictated by the Ohio Revised Codes, sections 5553.04 and 5553.05. The dates he's asking to set are Tuesday, February 15th, 2022 at 11:30, and that would be the view. And then he's asking that we set the hearing date for February 15th, 2022 at 1:30 p.m. So first the view and then the hearing, and this is dictated by the Ohio Revised Code. May we have a motion to do so?
Yeah, before I make a motion to do that, I just wanted to say that I called Adam because it wasn't clear to me what they were asking for. And apparently when there was a straightening of Possum Run Road, they left the old Possum Run Road there. And there's a mechanics business and I think it's Hidden Hollow Camp. They were still using the old road and they've now found other ways to access those locations. So that's the reason for this. So it helped to discuss that with Adam. So I had a greater clarification of what this is all about. And I'll make a motion to approve the vacation and those dates.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Vero,
Yes.
Commissioner Mears. Commissioner Banks.
That is all we have on the agenda today. Is there any questions from Laurel and Hardy?
I think I'm tapped out on the 1.873 costs of meals.
Al?
No, I don't have any at this point, other than, do you expect any action after your executive session?
It's been
10?
canceled. It's been canceled, Al.
Okay, so this is it for the day then.
This is it.
So this is as much as I get to see your handsome face.
You sound like my wife.
She took a little longer to learn, didn't she?
I don't think she has. Now, this isn't where you say you don't have any questions and then say you do have a question, right? You are done.
Hey, I told you Carl caused it the last time.
All right, everyone. Seeing no further business this week, your Richland County Board of Commissioners will adjourn at 9:49 a.m.
Hey, guess what? Meeting's over.